I'm Caroline Russell from Islington Living Streets, but I also represent London Living Streets on the Junction Review. And one thing I'd like to just share is that on Junction Review, Living Streets, LCC and Sustrans are working very closely together to make sure that whether we get listened to by TfL or not is another question, but what we are speaking with one voice to try and get streets that work for people. Because if a junction doesn't work for pedestrians, it's not going to work for cyclists either, because the pedestrians are going to, there's not going to be enough space, or they don't have enough time to get across the road, they're going to spill into the cyclist space. So what we have been kind of working on over the last 18 months is to try and work with TfL to make sure that the junctions that we're looking at work for people and not just for people on bikes or people on foot. So I think, picking up on something that Andrew was saying, you were saying that you want there to be minimum standards in terms of the cycling outcomes from the Junction Review. One thing that would be really helpful would be to ensure that there are also minimum standards in terms of the crossing experience for pedestrians. And if that's something that you were able to take back to TfL and make sure that that's in the system, that would be really helpful.
One of the things I strongly believe, and I said in the vision as well, is that I don't, on the whole, believe in schemes where space is shared between pedestrians and cyclists. I don't like them. I think they work. I think they create conflict. Pedestrians and cyclists. We'll try not to do them, although some councils absolutely love them, and ultimately, in a lot of cases, it'll be their road, so it'll be our call whether we don't do the scheme because it's got a bit of shared space in it, or whether we do. I mean. I do agree with you, Caroline. I think quite often the interests of pedestrians and cyclists are served by clearly delineated space. I'll give you an example. Here's an example where there is a disagreement between us and the local authority in the city. There's a crossing of Cannon Street at Queen Street. I don't know if you know, that's the very end of CS7, Cycle Superhighway 7. You come off Southwark Bridge and then you hit a crossing of Cannon Street, and it's a shared pedestrian cycling. Yeah. I don't like that, and basically every time you cross there you get dirty looks from pedestrians who don't think you're supposed to be there. And of course it's a very wide crossing. It should be perfectly possible to put a pedestrian bit should probably be quite a lot bigger than the cyclist bit and then a cyclist bit. But the city's not keen on that at the moment, so there's not much we can do about that. But we are going to do some similar schemes. There's a scheme at Wellington Street in central London. I don't know if you know that. That's the one by the Lion King Theatre. Do you know that one? You come down from sort of Drury Lane into the Strand and straight over onto Waterloo Bridge. Shocking shared pavement type scheme. It's just paint on the pavement. It's very narrow. It's incredibly congested at peak hours. That's going to be taken out. We're going to put a proper. Basically, we're going to put the street back, and it's only going to be for cyclists. So that's the kind of thing we're going to do, and pedestrians will know, because I use that quite a bit. I come off Waterloo Bridge. You get the red light, then you get the green light, then you've got a short amount of time for traffic, and then you've got some tourists standing on the space quite innocently looking at a map because they don't know it's a cycle lane. And I just want to make sure that pedestrians know, and cyclists know where to go and where not to go. And so send me a list of suggestions you think should be in the cycle design standard. And there are cycle design standards there for cycle facilities, but I totally take your point. Send me a list of suggestions and we'll see if we can feed those in, all right?